For whatever reason, I feel like in February, I was such a hater, you guys. There were some books that my friends on booktok were recommending like 5, 6 stars, infinity stars, and hear me out. Normally, I am with the masses. I am very easy to please. If there were an animal to describe me as a reader, it would be a trash panda because it doesn't take much for me to be entertained. I read a total of 14 books, a mix of physical books, ARCs, and audiobooks, so let's get into it. Starting off with the one that everyone's talking about, Daggermouth by H.M. Wolf. This is the first one in a duet, and you guys, I ended up giving this one 2 stars, okay? I want to always start off with the positive. So the first thing, this is a dark dystopian romance book, and it is enemies to lovers. But what I loved is just it's real enemies to lovers. Like, I'm gonna shoot you back, I'm gonna stab you, I'm gonna choke you. Literally, like, they are out to get each other. And I love it when enemies to lovers is like that, instead of just like, oh, hee, I hate you, but like I also really like you. No, this one is like completely opposite. The other thing I love, even though I did not love this book, I love supporting indie authors. I love supporting local bookstores. I bought a total of 4 copies of this book, 3 to give out to my friends, and I have no regrets about that. So this is H.M. Wolf's debut novel. This is the indie cover, and if you don't already have this book, I think like bookstores are not selling them anymore because her book is now going to be traditionally published. So I am 100% happy that I am supporting her. I wish her all the best in this journey, and she deserves all the hype, honestly. Like, I love seeing people succeed. But let's talk about what I didn't like. Okay, guys, this is a thick book. She's for 551 pages. No, this is 559 pages. She's thick and girthy. And normally it takes me about 3 days to finish a book, but tell me why. This one took me 10 days. 10 days. 10 days. And I think it's just the way the book is written. So each chapter is a different POV. Sometimes a chapter will have like multiple POVs, and sometimes they're like really long chapters. I think just what I noticed at the end of every chapter, it just like ends like it's the complete story of the chapter. Normally I love a little cliffhanger, something like want me to turn the page, but this just didn't want me turning the page. So I would read a chapter and like put it down and be like, go read something else. So I think that's what took me so long to read it. Also, this is a very, very slow burn, you guys. All right, so I will say though that the main characters don't even get into it until like, actually they never really do the whole PNV, okay? So maybe we'll see it in book 2. I was just pissed off at the end, you guys. I was just like, okay, I'm okay with plot twists, okay? I absolutely love that. But this one at the last 2 chapters, it was just like, it was whiplash. I just felt like this came out of nowhere, and okay, like literally like 3 different chapter POVs, and then it's like trauma dumping everything, and I just could not just get into it. Like, I could not follow along. It was just like a little bit out of the blue. So I was, you know, needless to say, I was pretty pissed off at the ending. And like I said, I'm usually happy. Like, I'm very easy to please, but this one just did not do it for me. Will I continue book 2? Maybe. Okay, what I think is though, now that she's getting traditionally published, maybe some of the editing will get a little bit better. Not like it was bad in the first place. Maybe I have a little bit more hope for the book 2. I might just do like an audiobook and just listen to the first like 10% or something. Okay, the other book I was highly disappointed about was Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry. This one I had high hopes for. So this is a romantasy. I would actually almost say it's like more like fantasy romance. This is the first one, and what I did is I first started with the graphic audiobook part 1, and that was the quality of the audiobook is literally so good. It's a movie in your ears. I love the full cast. I just love graphic audiobooks in general. But by the time I was done with part 1, part 2 wasn't out yet. It is out now. So what I had to do is I switched over to like the analog basic ass version of the audiobook, and just going from that to that version, it was just such a struggle for me. So I think that's what contributed to my lack of love for this book. I ended up giving this a 3.5 stars, and it just wasn't much for me in the first 70% of the book. I just felt like there was a lot happening, but it was not much to the plot. I feel like honestly it was just a lot of world building, and I think it wasn't just for me at that time. But the ending though, that's when shit came out of nowhere, and I was just like, holy shit. I originally was like 3 stars, and then the ending gave it a 3.5 for me. Will I continue the book? I think I will for the next one. You know what? I definitely think I will be continuing in reading book number 2, because I feel like things really picked up at the end. I feel like that if that momentum continues, I'll be very happy. So we shall see. What is up with me and reading all these like incomplete series anyway? Now I'm putting Heated Rivalry in my I Didn't Love So Much book. Okay, hear me out. I gave this one a 4 stars. The only thing is, for me, this was so identical to the show. I kind of felt like I was rereading it like back to back. So I watched the show, I binged it during winter break, and then I read this early February. So just a little bit more, so it was just like a monthish break between the show and the book. And I just felt like things were a little bit predictable, only because I already know what's happening next because I watched the show. So I found myself skimming this book just because of that reason. Was the book bad? Absolutely not. This is Shane and Ilya's book, and I was looking so forward to their storyline, and I was very, very happy. I do think that there's a section in the book, I think like the last chapter in the epilogue, that the show doesn't go into. So if you also love Heated Rivalry, the show and the book, at least read it for, you know, like the last epilogue, because I'm hoping that season 2 is where it picks up on this part of the book. So then the next book is actually an audiobook. It's Two Can Play by Ali Hazelwood. This originally came out as an audiobook novella, but I was at Target the other day and I saw that they published the paperback version of it. So I just don't think I would buy this book, and I'm glad I just read it for free on Libby. I ended up giving this one a 3 stars because, again, it's a novella, so you're not really going to get much to the storyline, but I just feel like this wasn't anything too special. But a couple things that really just did not do it for me. I felt like the female main character was a little bit pushy, especially when it comes to sex with the male main character. Because I remember the male main character was like, oh, I don't want to do it now, like I want to wait, I like really want to, like he was like head over heels for her for like years, and he's like, I really want to just like make it special for us, and she was kind of just like really being aggressive, and I did not like that. I don't know if this is just the audiobook narrator, but her voice was a little whiny to me, and I think that contributed towards my dislike for the female main character, because the female main character also came off as like a very much so know-it-all, and I just wasn't digging that. But at the end of the day, this was only like a 4-hour audiobook. I was just literally just doing some sewing and laundry, and bam, it was done. So it was fun. It was a cute, fun read. I would not pay for it, but it was all right. Okay, my next 3, I'm gonna go into my arcs. I am so excited because this month, I don't know how I got so many arcs approved, but I am here for it. Okay, let's start off with the first one. It's a short one. It's called Cupid is a Liar by Lexi Davis. This is, as the author notes and markets, it's a dark, spicy novella. But I will tell you that this is kind of more of a rom-com, and it is like darkish because there's a little bit of a fighting scene and shooting scene, but it's more very like lighthearted comedic. So I would not say this is dark romance. And spicy wise, there was hardly any spice. It was spicy at the very end of the book. So I kind of feel like that's a little bit misleading, but just putting that all behind me, I feel like this was a fun read. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I'd say if you're on the level of like very light dark romance, like the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey, and then over here you got Lee Rivers with her Edge of Darkness trilogy, I feel like Cupid is a Liar is towards that like grayish white side of dark romance. What I just honestly loved about this book, it was so fast, so quick to read. If I'm remembering correctly, it's like 100 or so pages. So literally in one sitting, you can just knock it out. I loved that there was a side character of, I don't think you can even call him a side character, but it's just a pet. I love when there's animals in books, and this one had Mr. Wiggles, a cat. I don't know what color it was in the book, but in my head, I painted him orange, and I just love that so much. Thank you so much to Lexi Davis for this arc. My next arc is In Stormy Weather by Chelsea Curto. You guys, when I got the notification that I got approved for this through NetGalley, I literally jumped up and down because I was like, oh my god, this is my first like big time author, and I was so excited. So imagine Twisters, a movie with the tornadoes and everything, but just swap out the tornadoes with hurricanes. I love that there's STEM representation and like womanhood, like woman girl power, standing up for yourself. So if you love like Ali Hazelwood's STEM aspects, I think you would really like In Stormy Weather. But what I also loved is how down bad Sebastian, the male main character, was for Quincy. So Sebastian is Quincy's brother's best friend or something like that. It's like one of those kind of tropes. And their banter was so good. It was literally making me smile. Their back and forth was so witty. In my head, I was just like, wow, I wish I had that kind of like humor in me. Another thing, I just like, there's just certain things I loved about this book, like small details, like the female main character loving ketchup packets. For me, I think that ketchup packets taste better than ketchup from a bottle, especially because bottles have like that wateriness at the top, like if you haven't used it in a while. But ketchup packets, it doesn't do you dirty like that, okay? I just felt like Sebastian was a little bit overprotective, especially when Quincy wanted to go out there in her category 5 hurricanes. And at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, you know what? If my fiance was going out into a category 5, I think I would also say like, hey, what the fuck? You're sitting at home. You're not going out there. So I kind of get it, but I'm also at the same time, I'm like, go let her do whatever she wants. And the only thing I wanted to see a little bit more in this book was a little bit more rivals. So you'll see that the main characters are rivals, like starting from like college days. So I kind of wanted a little bit more of that tension and just drama. But overall, this was a very cute, great book. I definitely recommend it, especially since summertime is right around the corner. And then my last arc for February was Highland Hideaway by Lily Gold. This was my very first Lily Gold book, but she is known for Why Choose. So that is literally what got me to like want to submit my request for this arc. So this is a story about one girl. She's from London and she's on a little like influencer trip to Scotland, and her place that she was supposed to stay at ended up not working out. Like she's in this like huge like influencing like debacle. So anyway, she ends up going into this Airbnb and it's with 3 Scottish guys, and I just love, it was so fun because it wasn't like 3 guys all at once. It was first like she developed her relationship with one guy and then another guy joined in, and like in the later half of the book then the 3rd guy joined. It was just so spicy and fun. I love this one, you guys, because you know me, I love Why Choose. Okay, that's one of my favorite tropes ever. I also love the ADHD representation in this book, and honestly I just love it whenever you get like that ADHD or autistic representation in the book. But this one I literally felt like, oh my god, are you me, girl? Because there are times where she's like talking about how she's overstimulated or she's like struggling with like her medication and even like the stigma. And I just love that the female main character showed up for who she was. She ended up being herself and finding the guts to like come out and just like do whatever she wants with her influencing platform and everything. I ended up giving this 4 stars, but honestly, oh, I remember why. One of the male main characters, his name was Alec. He was so annoying. He was stubborn. He was like literally the reason for the 3rd act breakup and for miscommunication. He can literally go to hell, man. But I take that back because when I read the epilogue, Alec did in fact do a full transformation, so I have faith in him. But that is the reason why I took this down 1 star less. But the thing is, at the end of the day, this is Why Choose, and there's 2 other guys to make up for him. So I was overall still very happy. Okay, I talked about the Addicted series in almost every one of my videos, I feel like, since last year. This is Hot House Flower. This is book, I think, 5 in the Addicted series, but this is the first book where it's dedicated to Daisy and Reich. So Daisy and Reich, you see them in the past books, but when you first meet them, Daisy is only 16 and Reich is like 24, so you can already guess, you know, there's a little bit of age gap and kind of like forbidden romance. I will say though that when I first met those 2 characters in the other books, I hated these 2 because I was just like, first of all, why are you as an adult like being super flirtatious with an underage girl? And then also I was mad at the girl because she's like, oh, I'm a model, like I look so much older, but she was definitely crossing boundaries. She was like throwing the dog a bone. The thing I loved about, I did not think I was gonna love this book so much. I ended up giving a 5 star because there's so much, literally, you know that quote, you don't know what someone's going through until you are in their shoes or you talk to them. That's literally these 2 characters. I think they might be my favorite book couple in this entire series. But also their story is so heartbreaking and so sad. I gave this one a 5 stars. I ate this up. I feel like this is like my like safety, like break in case of emergency series. Like when I really need a good book, like I'll just go into this series. Okay, I'm gonna group these 2 together, but I also read Delicate Escape, which is book number 2 in, book number 2 in the Sparrowfall series, and I also read Broken Harbor, which is book 3. I actually did the audiobook version of these, you guys. Okay, so let me tell you a little trick. So it depends on the book, but if you check out a book on Kindle Unlimited and then you go on Amazon.com on the browser and you try to check out the audiobook, sometimes they'll give you a really big discount for the audiobook. So that's what I did. So I got both of these on Kindle Unlimited and I got the audiobooks for only like $5 or $6, less than $6, which for me, Girl Math, free. Catherine Cowles is the queen of suspenseful romance books, and the audiobooks are just so underrated. The voice actors are amazing. They are dual POVs and you get 2 different voice actors. I love that there's so many plot twists. There's always some kind of like bad character, like, and then you have an idea of who it's gonna be, but it's never who you initially thought. So I just fucking love this. This is also one of my comfort series. Like if I need a good book, I will go into the series. So I cannot wait to continue. One of my favorite books was Till Summer Do Us Part. Oh my god, I talked about this in my how much I read in a corporate 9 to 5 in a week. This is my first Megan Quinn book ever, and I'm just so glad this was my first one. Absolutely so funny. I normally do not actually like physically or audibly laugh. Like whenever I say, oh, a book was funny, I'll be like, yeah, it was so funny. But literally this one had me like chin to chin, no, ear to ear smiling and laughing. Also, I didn't know that her books come with like little art inside. So good. I loved Wilder. He is one of my favorite male main characters ever. This one has, let me go to my page here. I ended up giving this one absolutely the easiest 5-star ever. This has fake marriage. I love that there's therapy representation in this book, even though, yeah, if you've read this book, you'll know something really funny about the therapist. As funny as it was, I feel like this book was also deeper than, you know, just like the surface level rom-com. I feel like I took away some like relationship and future marriage tips from this one. So absolutely ate this one. I cannot wait to read her other books. I am gonna read the Kane Brothers series. I think it's like Not So Meet Cute one. I think that's what it's called. So good. And I also went back into my audiobook phase and I listened to What He Doesn't Know by Candy Steiner, which is book 1 in the series. And then book 2 is What He Always Knew by Candy Steiner. You guys, I fucking flew through these books. I did not know what I was getting into. I just saw that there was love triangle and I was like, okay, say no more. This is literally, if you love mess, if you love drama, if you love problematic characters, this is seriously the book for you, or the entire series. I gave both of these 5 stars, and I feel like the reason, my criteria for 5 stars is like, you have to make me feel all the feels, whether it's happy, sad, or anxious. And also, if I'm like flying through them, that's a very good indicator for me that it's a 5 stars. And that's what this book absolutely did for me. I felt the anger, and the worst and kind of best part of this is that, you know, of course it's a love triangle, but I could see each side of the story, so I felt like nobody was right, but also nobody was wrong. For the first book, I was very pro Reese, and in the second book, I was very pro Cameron, and then at the end of book 2, I was just like, oh my god, what just happened? It's absolutely amazing. I feel like if you are entering your Candy Steiner universe, definitely start here. I cannot wait to read A Love Letter to Whiskey, and I'm also so excited for her new book, Love Overboard, which is coming out in July, so I'm so excited for that one. All right, the last book I'm going to talk about for February is Soul Eater by Lily Mayne, and you guys, I must say I'm in my monster romance era, but specifically monster romance. Yes, that is what I said. I had to read this because one of my friends, Sydney, she had the best Goodreads updates for this book, and I was just like, okay, say no more. I need to figure out why you're loving this book. And believe me, this one fulfilled like this hole in my heart, or just like a scratch that I didn't know I needed. So if you love some like weird ass shit, this is the book for you. And literally the smut was insane, because like, you know, sometimes just humans get a little bit boring, so gotta throw in a monster into the mix, and it literally had me on the edge of my seat. I cannot wait to continue reading. I feel like there's something about this series that that no other book can do for me. I did it. I filmed this video like 4 times, you guys, and I was just like, holy shit, these are a lot of books to get through. What an amazing February. I will say though that ever since I stopped doom scrolling on TikTok, I have been able to read a lot more. I know that's not kind of common sense, but this month I definitely feel like I locked in. I read some amazing books. Please let me know if you've read any of these books. I cannot wait to see you guys in the next week's video, and until then, bye!